The Joker. Oh, hey everyone. As you're here, I guess it's my time to shine. As Batman, I have vengeance. I am the Knight. I am Batman. And today, this is my review of the Batman franchise. Long time ago, little brief history, a guy goes by the name of Bob Kane made his first genuine comic book when Batman first appeared, called Detective Comics, back in 1939. And then he did another one back in 1940 with his own name in the comic, starring his young ward, Robin. They were very interesting comic books. And these are reprint. They're not the real comics. Those things are expensive. When Bob Kane loved his character so much, they did serials. And it was before TV and series were around. They made these movies here. They were serials. You only see them when you're in the theater, but now they're out on DVD. They're black and white. This one, called Batman, was made in 1943. This one was really good. Had an evil villain called Daka. He's supposed to be a Japanese mad scientist during the wartime between us and the Germans us fighting against the Germans in World War II. This one was good. Batman and Robin, 1949. It was pretty awesome. And it was about a guy called the Wizard who had a device that can control vehicles. Pretty good. And then around the 60s and 70s, there were the legendary Adam West series. They were pretty corny and campy, but if it wasn't for that show, Batman would have been known. And then about 89, around the time when I was young, this was my first Batman movie I saw. Batman. Created by Tim Burton. Michael Keaton did the good impression of Batman. And of course, Jack Nicholson as the Joker. I'm bad. And then the sequel they made, Batman Return, by Tim Burton. You have the Penguin as a Joker. And Christopher Walken as Max Schreck. And Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. Wow. She put the purr in perfect. And this was really, really awesome. And then Tim Burton became a producer, and Joel Schumacher became a director. And it looked like he was trying to bring back the campy 60s and 70s Batman, and have Val Kilmer as Batman in Batman Revenge. Chris O'Donnell did a good Robin. Nicole Kidman, Jim Carrey as Riddler, and Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. And then Christopher Nolan, he took over. Until Joel Schumacher took over and made Batman and Robin. George Clooney as Batman. This is why Superman works alone. Of course, Chris O'Donnell as Robin. Uma Thurman, she did a good Poison Ivy. And Michelle Silverstone, Ashley Silverstone did a good Batgirl. And of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger with his ice puns as Mr. Freeze. Today's forecast, the freeze is coming. And he did a lot more ice puns than Vincent Price, when he played Egghead on that 60s and 70s series. And then when I was young, during the time after that movie, I thought that movie killed the franchise. Until I saw the TV animated series of Batman, starring Christopher Nolan as the Dark Knight, and Mark Hamill from Star Wars did a great Joker impression. And then, in 2005, after I graduated, Christopher Nolan pitched in, and Christian Bale as Batman. And Batman Begins. This city just showed you that there's people really, really good. And of course, you have the Scarecrow. He did pretty good, and Liam Neeson as the Ra's al Ghul, the international terrorist. And then Christopher Nolan did the sequel here, starring Heath Ledger as a legendary Joker. And of course, Christian Bale is Batman again. The movie was really, really good. You can't keep your eyes off of Heath Ledger as the Joker, because he's really creepy, to be precise. And after he passed away, everybody still remembers Heath Ledger as the Joker. And then Christopher Nolan decided to do a third movie, and of course, there's Christian Bale as Batman again on The Dark Knight Rises. I don't know how does his throat get sore after doing Batman? And, of course, Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. She did a really good job as, she's good, but she wasn't no Michelle Pfeiffer. And, of course, there was a villain named Bane who took over, and I broke the bat. Just like the comic books, Bane, they removed the venom in his veins to increase his strength, but made Bane exactly the way he really is. He has a photographic memory. He figures out who Batman is about a month, and also speaks tons of different languages. And he breaks Batman's back, just like in the comics. Except in the comics, Alfred was a trained physician, so he nursed him back to health, while Robin was going around through Gotham trying to find any other villains that that he has to take care of, since Batman is kind of almost paralyzed until Alfred fixed his back, and now Batman is back and ready to kick some butt. And of course, Talia al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul's daughter, is involved. Pretty surprising there. But of course, I'm not going to tell you who is Talia al Ghul until the end of the movie. So I ain't going to be doing no spoiler alert. And of course, there was a guy who goes by the name of Frank Miller. He did a comic book called The Dark Knight Return, and it's supposed to be based in the future. It's supposed to be set in the future where Batman was forced to retire, and of course, the crime rate was getting pretty big since Batman's no longer around. So he had a death wish going on until he decided to get out of retirement and come back as Batman once again. He finished off Joker, stopped Two-Face for trying to kill everyone, and he also stops a gang who calls himself the Mutants. They're just horrible group of teenagers who enjoy giving pain to people by torturing them and all. So Batman stopped the mutant leader. And, of course, it was the first comic book where they had the fight between Superman and Batman. Because the government, if Batman is out of retirement, he'll make the government look bad. So they hired Superman to try to force his friend into retirement at any means as necessary. So that's when it became a one-on-one fight between Superman and Batman. And it was the first comic book ever made who decided to create that. And I didn't catch up on the animated movies until I heard that they're going to make an animated movie based from that comic, Dark Knight Return. So I had these. Batman Dark Knight Return 1 and 2. And the guy who does the voice of Batman is the same guy who played RoboCop. Whoever thought that the guy who everybody remembered him as RoboCop did the voice of the Dark Knight. And of course, ever since I had my PS3, I wanted to know what it's like to be Batman, so I would play a video game of Batman. And there were some video games that weren't exactly that good, until I came across this. Based in a graphic novel called Batman Arkham Asylum. This one was really good. You play Batman, you arrest Joker, you get really suspicious that he surrendered without a fight. So, you have to figure out what he's up to, and a bit of spoilers, he's trying to create his own monsters by using using Bane's venom, make him strong. And then they made a sequel called Batman Arkham City, where, there's a mad scientist named Hugo Strange who figured out, who, Batman really is, so he had to figure out how. And at the same time, you start to discover that the Joker, he's dying because the venom that Joker injected himself into in the first game, it's killing him. So Batman found the cure because the Joker injected it into Batman as well. Batman found the cure, but it was too late for the Joker. So sadly, at the end, Joker died. I didn't like it. Because I didn't want Joker to die. I want him to be captured and put in prison, and that's it. I didn't want any villains to die. And of course, that's what Batman did in the comics. In the old comics, he did kill bad guys until the Comics Code, they decided for superheroes, don't kill anyone. Doesn't matter who evil they are, don't kill. And of course, they made this video game, Batman Arkham Origin. And on Arkham Origin, it tells the backstory, the beginning of Arkham, and how Joker first met Batman, and how Batman first saw Batman for the first time. And it was really good. And I've beaten all 3 of those Arkham games, and now I hear there's a 4th one called Batman Arkham Knight, that I'm ready to play, and see if I can beat that game. From all the comic books, to the movies, to the video games, and the animated series, I guess, Batman never ends. And I guess I'll never end loving Batman. So, this is my review for today. And, thank you all for watching. And remember, don't ever do any evil things where I'm around. 'Cause I'll be there. 'Cause I'm Batman. So long, everyone. 'Cause I'm Batman.